Good evening. I'd like to call the Peoria Public School Board of Education meeting for October 23rd, 2023 to order. Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Mrs. Costick. Mr. Claus. Mrs. McConnell. Dr. Rankin.
Here.
Mrs. Ross.
Here.
Mr. Wilson. President Murphy.
Here.
You have 6 present.
Thank you. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, and before we begin, I would like to draw your attention to the boards on both sides here. To my left, we've got Reservoir Gifted Academy. Up here are a lot of quotes. If you can't see or read them, make sure you stop up here and take a look at them after the meeting. But a lot of great statistics on what they're accomplishing there at their school, along with just being like some more positive, upbeat, inspirational quotes as well. Looks very good. And then over here to my right, we have the Manual Rams posters that they've had printed. They look very, very impressive, very nice, nicely done. So there's a lot of good information up here as well on what they're doing, and kind of looks like their philosophy on how they do their day-to-day down at Manual. So thank you to both Manual and to Reservoir Gifted Academy. All right. Moving on now to announcements. Chase, or Mr. Klaus, would you like to start?
We Are Connected. Our third mindset within the newly adopted 7 mindset curriculum is We Are Connected. Until December 1st, students, staff, and parents will be exploring different ways to embrace everyone, build their dream team, maximize positive relationships, and lead with value.
Lynn, anything for you?
Good afternoon. School Bus Driver Appreciation Day. Illinois School Bus Driver Appreciation Day was yesterday, October 22nd. Please thank your bus drivers for safely getting your students to and from school every day. Thank you.
Illinois Principals Appreciation Week. October 15th through the 21st was Illinois School Principal Appreciation Week. Now that school is back in session, take the time to thank your student's principal for all the amazing work that they do.
Daylight savings time ends on Sunday, November 5th. Don't forget to set your clocks back by 1 hour on November 5th.
Spooktacular Orchestra Event. The orchestras of Richwoods High School and Reservoir Gifted are teaming up to host a Spooktacular Orchestra event this Wednesday, October 25th from 7 to 8. Come enjoy a light show and special effects along with a dance and performances by the Richwoods Royalettes and speech team.
Okay. Franklin Fright Fest. Franklin Primary School is hosting Franklin Fright Fest this Thursday, October 25th from 5 to 7 p.m. Come enjoy a haunted hallway, spooky games, and holiday crafts. Entry is $2 per person, and children under 4 are free. All children must always be accompanied by an adult. Wearing costumes is encouraged, but face masks are not allowed. And then Halloween safety. It's almost Halloween. Use these 3 easy tips for practice to practice safe trick-or-treating. Number 1, remain visible. Use bright colors or reflective tape to make sure your child's costume can be seen in the dark. 2, travel together. Don't let your student go trick-or-treating unsupervised or alone. And number 3, inspect all the treats. Go through your treats when the night is over and avoid eating unsealed, loose, or unmarked candy. And any Snickers can be turned into the Board of Education to me. All right, let's see here. Moving on now to awards and recognition.
Brandon Bell. Brandon Bell.
As my facilities team comes up, I'd like to introduce them to you. Brandon Bell, Director of Building and Grounds, Justin Hoffman, and Carl Somerville, both Assistant Directors, Carl and Justin. And with that, I'll let Brandon take it away.
Thank you, Mr. Willis. Good evening, board members, Dr. Karat. Thank you for having us this evening. We just wanted to get up here and explain that over the past few months, we've been working behind the scenes, exploring creative ways to improve the morale and promote a positive work culture overall within our department. One of our goals has been to set the standard of excellence by recognizing exceptional custodial staff members with the Custodian of the Month Award. This month, Building and Grounds want to acknowledge a custodian who has displayed exceptional dedication and hard work and unwavering commitment to maintaining one of our facilities. Her efforts have not only contributed to the cleanliness and orderliness to one of our facilities, but have also created a positive and pleasant environment for everyone to promote and receive an education. This custodian's attention to detail sets a standard that inspires others around her. We are genuinely grateful for the passion and energy that she brings to her role as a head custodian. Her immediate work as a leader and head custodian has proven to have a positive impact on not only her coworkers, but the students, staff, and the public. We are pleased this evening to present Mrs. Angela Randall with this month's Custodian of the Month Award. Congratulations. Thank you again.
President Murphy, may I say something?
Absolutely, yes.
Just, Mr. Board, oh, good. While they're taking the picture. Mr. Bell, this is, how long have you been in your position? Relatively new, less than a year, right? Is it about a year? It's about a year. But, yeah.
Yeah, it's been about a year.
10 months. Go ahead, Ms. Randall. Congratulations.
I just wanted to say that I really appreciate this a lot, and although I haven't been here very long, I do work hard, and my team is really awesome, and I'm so proud to have the team that I have, because without them, none of this would be possible, so I am truly thankful.
That's great. Thank you. And Board, I sent you a newsletter from Brandon Bell's department. I think it's the first time I've ever seen a newsletter from the Director of Buildings and Grounds. They did a really nice job with it. So keep up the good work, team. Under the leadership of Mr. Bell, you're awesome. You're doing a great job. We appreciate you. I know you're busy. Your team, you guys have so much work to do, and you're on task with it and doing a great job. So thank you. Justin, I received your information as well. Thanks. I didn't get a chance to tell you thanks. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Moving on now to Tracy Jones.
Good evening, Board President Murphy, Vice President Dr. Ranking, board members, and Dr. Kratt. My name is Tracy Jones. I'm the Executive Assistant to the Superintendent. Tonight I'm here to recognize Felicia Dorsey Harris with the Remarkable Spirit Award. Felicia has been a school secretary for PPS for 24 years. Right? And is currently at Lincoln K-8. Felicia always has a smile on her face and an upbeat personality. She has great relationships with her students and families that last beyond their time together. Because she has been a school secretary for so long, she provides above and beyond support for other PPS school secretaries. If I get a call from a parent and I'm not sure how to answer, I call Felicia to get her input. Anytime that the schools are in a bind without a school secretary, I call Felicia. On top of her daily work, she has assisted both Ms. Clemens at Glen Oak and Mr. Durr at Dr. Maud Sanders with everything from attendance to payroll when their clerical positions were unfilled. She is always ready to help in any way that she can, whenever anyone needs her. For these reasons and more, it gives me great pleasure to present this award to my colleague and now friend, Felicia Harris.
Everything they said is true. Now we want to hear from you, Ms. Felicia.
What would you like to hear about? I appreciate this, and I'm always willing to help, as Tracy knows. It's just me. I appreciate it.
As a parent who has a student that attends that school, I do know that she is always willing to help. She's always helped me, and she continues to just be that front greeter at the door, you know, whenever you first come into the building, and it's always very exciting to see you for the day. So thank you very much. Yep. Moving on now to student recognitions, Dr. Michelle Hassan.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you. Recently, Board President Murphy, Vice President Ranking, Dr. Karat, distinguished board members, and distinguished guests, thank you all for being here this evening. So recently, the College Board awarded thousands of students from across the country with academic honors through their annual national recognition programs. These programs celebrate students who excel academically on College Board assessments, including the PSAT, NMSQT, the PSA-10, and AP exams. Students can include this honor on their college applications, and many colleges intentionally recruit students based on these awards. The criteria for these awards include a GPA of 3.5 or higher. That's a big deal. 3.5 in this day and age with all this social media and cable channels. It's also based on the PSAT, NMSQT, and the PSAT assessment scores that are within the top 10% for the state. That's a big deal as well. And these students attend school in a small town, which I think Peoria is bigger than a small town, but and they also identify as African American, Latino, or Indigenous. So eligible students were invited to apply and were awarded this school year to share their achievements in high school. And it's increasingly hard for students to be seen in the college recruitment process. So we are exceptionally proud of our national recognition program, of this program for celebrating students who are sometimes overlooked for their academic achievements. And these achievements not only benefit themselves, but it also benefits the colleges who are looking to recruit students of color as well. So we are thrilled to celebrate students and recognize them for the great work that they've been doing. We're really proud of their strong academic performance in the classroom and on the College Board assessments, and there's so much that makes our students unique. And receiving this honor reinforces this as an asset for their future. Every student is unique, and it comes to life through their efforts and achievements during high school. And so doing the work is the hard part. Being recognized should be easy. So that's why we're here tonight, to celebrate our students for achieving these awesome academic awards. And so many times we want students to be engaged in school. And so these students definitely are. They're engaged and they're doing the work, the hard work in the classroom. So we're so very proud of them. If we could please give them a round of applause, and then we'll call them all up individually. 3.5. Wow, top 10%. Okay, and so I will ask the principals to come up and join us at this time. First, we're going to do Peoria High. Not sure Mr. McGinnis is not here, so Ibrahim Elmi, if you're here, please come forward. And so, Mr. Robson, please come on up and announce your names and help award the certificates.
Dr. Hassan?
Yes?
Do you want to take a picture of Dr. Hassan and Abraham?
Yeah, let's scoot over a little bit so we don't have the microphone in front of us.
There we go. All right.
All right. Thank you for having us again. We love recognizing our students who exhibit the standard of excellence in everything they do. I'm sure we're going to become close friends throughout the year through many awards recognition ceremonies. So we have Kai and Adam Shipman. Moses Delgado. Montrell Wright. Morgan Riley. Noah King. She's not here, but Olivia Reynolds. Phoenix Wambacher. Sarah Adamson. Teresa Bartlome.
Thank you. Congratulations. These are
This means they're like super, super, super bright kids. Congrats.
Okay.
Don't go yet. And we have one more very distinguished award. And this award is for a student who not only met the criteria that I described, but is in the top 1%.
Nationally.
Top 1% of our state. And so please join me in welcoming Kaylin Bell. And so Kaylin has won the award. She's a semifinalist for the National Merit Program. And again, we're so very proud of her. And yeah, so I just can't stop saying top 1% because it's so exciting. So congratulations. We're so proud of all of you and your hard work and your dedication. And just please continue to do well academically now and in the future. So thank you.
Okay, don't run off yet.
And then as they're taking pictures, can congratulations to all of you who did that. But do we have any of the family members here of the students? If you're here, would you please stand? Thank you.
I think they're all taking pictures.
They're all taking pictures? That's fine. Well,
Congratulations.
yes, congratulations.
Yes, thank you for
The first of many awards.
All right. Moving right along to the Hispanic Heritage Month update. Anna Rose. No, yeah, it's fine.
Good evening, Dr. Karat, President Murphy, and distinguished board members. It is my honor to present some activities and dedication that schools throughout the district devoted to Hispanic Heritage Month. Hispanic Heritage Month kicked off September 15th through October 15th. In the beginning, in 1968, Hispanic Heritage was only a week long, but in 1988, it became a month-long celebration. And if you recall, President Biden always talks about how we have possibilities. And in District 150 Peoria schools, we have possibilities. Possibilities for our students to shine and show pride in their heritage. We celebrated Hispanic Heritage Month by showing all the possibilities that our students could learn from others, from other countries, other languages. As you know, students come to this country or are born here to add to that American dream, to become doctors, engineers, future leaders, and advocates for cultures. I want to focus your attention on some of the schools that really did an outstanding job showcasing the projects that the students did during a parent event. I'm highlighting two schools, Annie Jo Gordon and Manual. As you know, our school always tries to do projects that are project-based learning so that students are not only learning the academics, but they're also engaging in research and learning about the world around them. At Annie Jo Gordon, they adapted the dual language curriculum mapping with project-based learning, and it was a school-wide dedication to learning about different cultures and different countries. Every grade level, in addition to the dual language program, decided on a country they wanted to learn. They learned about the culture, they learned about the language, the different foods, artifacts, and things that they were able to make as far as art and music. Here's a couple of pictures of the mural that they have as their family mural that collects that beautiful art representation and some of the artifacts that were highlighted in one of the country's research, which was Mexico. Celebrating all countries and cultures, in addition to having the project-based learning, they had a parent event which not only had entertainment, food, and the exhibits of all the projects that students made, they also had a presentation. If you look at the pictures, these were presentations that Annie Jo Gordon students performed during the presentation with their families. Project-based learning at AJG and other schools has been top priority in learning and engaging students. Here are some pictures of students learning about their background and being proud of where they came from. They did a genealogical tree where they studied where they came from and who their family ancestry were. We're moving on to Manual High School. In addition to doing entertainment, here we see students learning about the different dances. This is the dance of the old men, and high school students who were brave enough to get dressed up and perform for students. Community involvement also played a big role in their celebration. They not only performed for students, parents, but they also invited well-known figures in our community and leaders. They recognized those leaders for their dedication to our schools and our community. We had food, entertainment, cultural activities throughout. If you notice this, we have one of our bus drivers, Mr. Vargas. He has an amazing voice, and one day I hope you're able to hear the fabulous talent that he has. And as a matter of fact, when my father was I was listening to him in the program, he thought it was Vicente Fernandez who was singing, who's a famous singer in Mexico, and it was Mr. Vargas. That's how talented he is. Next slide. Glen Oak also, for fall intercession, we decided to do project-based learning based on Hispanic heritage because it extended until October 15th. So part of our learning was looking at different traditions. In the first slide, you see a compare and contrast of Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead, and Halloween. Students were able to analyze similarities and differences between the holidays and what the focus was in the different traditions. We had a parent showcase where they came and looked at projects, and students were absolutely engaged, and we had 100% attendance from the beginning until the very end of school. Here's more pictures of our students enjoying mingling with their parents and presenting their projects and sharing. The pride that they had in presenting their projects was unbelievable, and it's wonderful to see how much they learn and how excited they are in learning. And that's our goal, is to get students interested in learning so they become engaged and actually learn, and they have no idea that they're learning standards. They're learning writing, reading, research skills, and embedding them into their whole knowledge background. So that is the end of the presentation. I just wanted to highlight some of those things that we did during Hispanic Heritage Month. Our goal is to make sure that we highlight all cultures, and like President Biden says all the time, is provide those possibilities for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you for that update and that presentation. I'd like to also just add that I did receive multiple emails from different families thanking the district for allowing that to happen, that the kids really got to enjoy learning about their own culture by getting to share it with their classmates in a way that really kind of was engaging for all. So good job with that program. All right. I apologize, my computer went to sleep. Let's see. All right, moving on now to presentation by audience. Get my readers here. Per board policy 2:230, an individual may address the board at this time for no more than 5 minutes, with further time allotted as appropriate at the discretion of the chair and with concurrence of the majority of the board. Total time on any one subject shall exceed 20 minutes only at the discretion of the chair with the concurrence of the majority of the board. Each speaker will fill out a request to speak to the Board of Education card and present it to the board secretary before the meeting begins. And we will go ahead and begin right now. First up, we have Mr. Dan Walther.
Thank you, Mr. President. Welcome, board. I was watching those pictures from the bilingual multicultural program, and I really felt like I fit one of the old men dancing pictures in there. I said, I look very similar to that. And before I go on, I'm a former board member and president substitute. I've been substituting for the last 2 years. And I wanted to pass on to Anna Rose something she probably already knows. In substituting throughout the district, when I get a bilingual class and stuff with it, I look forward to it. They have consistently been well-disciplined, well-ordered. They mind. We walk through the hall and they don't grab each other and don't scream at people. They just walk well. And you can tell that there's a cultural thing, a family thing within the bilingual thing. So it's been, I just wanted to share that with you, that it's been consistent. I mean, I've had young kids and I've been at Manual where we've got the bilingual. And usually what I'll find is I'll have a couple of kids who are very fluent in English and a couple of kids who can hardly speak anything, but they all work together. And so it's been my pleasure to sub in those classes, and I just wanted to share that with you. I'm here with one of my passions, as you know. school safety, and I understand the board has made a big step with that, and that there is a presentation of hiring more resource officers. And I think that is a wonderful step in the right direction. I do think, because we still have the authority from really a couple of years ago to arm the people who are our resource officers who are qualified to do that. And that really is only about 7 or 8 people. And because one of the restrictions we had before was that these people had to take training, police training, so that we had very qualified people to carry firearms in the district. And we have that. And so I know there are a couple of legislative people who aren't sure exactly where the board is on that. And the way to clarify that is basically a board resolution. I'm not asking you to do that tonight, but I think a direction from the board that says that we're okay with arming, or right now we have the 3 high schools are the only schools that we have where people can carry firearms. I'm at Woodruff, I'm substituting at Woodruff. It's a high school, we're not allowed, he's not allowed to carry a firearm. So I think I'd like to review that case, but we also would have a couple of other schools that would be entitled to that. That would also give us time then to look at the other people who are being hired who would be eligible, because I think they have to go through different trainings. The training to be a resource officer, thanks to the excellence of our own program, we're not getting charged for that. There would be a charge if you had to go to police training. We do understand that. That's a separate issue. But I think some leadership from the board and the superintendent on this issue, I think would make not only myself, but I think a lot of people feel a lot safer. I know I keep harping on this, but it's really, I have a concern about the safety of the kids in the school and the teachers. And I was reminded by a person that in Nashville, when they had the shooting that was there were 4 people who were shot. It was the principal of the school, a teacher at the school, 1 student, and a substitute teacher. And so they brought that up to me. And that was a private school, wasn't a public school. Nobody is removed from the terror of this thing happening at a school shooting. And what I'm saying is, I want us to be as protected as we can be. And you guys have made a good first step, and I wanted to thank you for that. And so I know at times I've complained about that, but when you do something right, you need to get credit for that too. So I just want to thank you for that, and please consider making a public pronouncement and stuff on the carrying of firearms. But thank you.
Thank you. Up next, we have Deborah Root.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to speak to you tonight. My name is Deborah Rude. I'm a veteran teacher with 35 years of experience. I have taught choral and general music for 19 years in the Peoria Public Schools, the last 14 as the middle school music teacher at Lincoln K-8. I stand here as a proud graduate of Peoria Public Schools, having attended Rolling Acres, Washington, which is now Reservoir, and Richwoods High School. Near the end of my high school years, my father came to teach music in the Peoria Public Schools, and when I returned to teach here, he and I overlapped for 1 year prior to his retirement. Suffice it to say, I have been involved in the performing arts in District 150 continuously since joining beginning band and colonial choraleers in 1976. It is no exaggeration to say that my musical experiences while a student at Peoria Public Schools made me who I am as a person. I can vividly recall lessons learned under the tutelage of Gwen Carlton, Jane Matthews, Clark Christensen, and Wayne McCumber. I learned the value of hard work and self-discipline, and I experienced the joy of collaborating with fellow musicians to perform in front of an audience. I became a choral music educator to give students the same experiences and the same joy of self-expression and collaboration. And for the past 20 years, I have continued to perform in choral music as a singer, as a member of the Peoria Area Civic Chorale. I come to you tonight out of concern for the future of our school choral ensembles. At this time, half of our middle school students have no access to a school choir. This is resulting in low enrollments in the high school choirs. I'm fortunate at Lincoln to have a building administration that allows for creativity and scheduling so that students can participate in choir. In most buildings, the choral specialist is given a rotation of entire homerooms for general music, with the concern of covering all the homeroom teachers' preps. No thought is given to what is necessary to produce a valid choral experience or any educational best practices. We are grateful for the new choral risers purchased for several schools from the ESSER funds, but what we really need is time to teach. We need to fully staff all the arts at all our schools and allow for creativity and scheduling so that we have time to pour into our students and help them develop their talents. Those of us who are actually doing the work of teaching the arts to our students need to be heard. We have years of experience and solutions to offer. We collaborate frequently with our musical colleagues who teach in other districts. We know what to do to make things work. We just need to be heard and acknowledged. Thank you.
Thank you. Up next, we have Marie Lindahl.
My name is Marie Lindahl, and I'm an art teacher at Northmore Primary. I just wanted to address the board about the fine arts program in our district. Last month, I came to the board meeting and placed my card on the table first. I was the first one here, but I didn't get to speak. I don't know how the cards got picked up. That didn't happen. But anyway, I was told by Mr. Murphy that I could email the board to share my speech, and so when I got home, I took time to email the board and Dr. Karat. 3 board members and Dr. Karat replied, read and responded. Only 4. One board member didn't even open my email, but I hit delete. And I know that because I clicked the settings in my email to show me what was read and what wasn't. So that was very telling of how that one person felt about getting the message. And it says a lot about how the board views teachers when they hit the delete button. One thing that did happen after my email was that contact was made to my principal, and she spoke with me and is willing to help out where she can. And I knew that going into this. She is not the issue. The issue is that we have to have consumables for art class. My principal is getting journals, which is one thing that I needed to have, but that's not going to be enough for the supplies for the year. And the portion that I get to split between the music teacher and myself is still not enough. So I made a list of supplies and sent it to our fine arts coordinator that's been talked about at the board meeting. And it was a total of $3,000 by the time I got done of what kinds of things we need in the art classroom. And I'm using what we have currently, and along with donations and along with fundraising and all of that. The response I got from our fine arts coordinator, Mr. Render, was, I am coordinating the instrumental arts grades 5 through 12. So my question is, who is in charge of visual arts consumables? Where can we get those funds? How can we make sure that we can have the supplies that we need beyond the budget that's been provided? And how do we make sure to move so that all schools have fine arts in all buildings for the students? Thanks.
Thank you. Up next, we have Mr. Asherman Reedy.
French philosopher Albert Camus once said, "There is no true work of art that promotes more freedom in the world. Art is a necessity for not just humans as a means of entertainment, but for our soul also." I speak as someone who's worked as a substitute teacher, a pack leader for the Boy Scouts, as well as a martial arts teacher for Art Inc. in our district. And I will say something. State of the fine arts are unacceptable. Basically, teachers are having to pay for their own supply. Teachers are being assigned to areas which that's not optimal for students. And not only that, I also had to work through Art Inc. to get trying to introduce a hip hop program at Manual because students are bored and they basically have nothing to do. For most part, I understand that the school district has limits due to budget, basically how many teachers there are, but it's not just the school system that itself is necessarily the problem, but also parents we parents, as well as those who care for the students, need to be more active. Like, how many teachers actually know what fully goes on in the schools in regards to fine arts? Like, what does the fine arts department of each school offer? Basically, it's just a matter of basically raising awareness for students and parents. I believe that if we all need to be, for the sake of the students in our city, we all need to be better.
Thank you. Up next, we have Alicia Granderson.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Alicia Granderson, and I am the parent organizer for Peoria Parents Project, which is a grassroots parent organization that advocates and fights for education justice for Peoria Public School students. Tonight, I have come out to advocate for more funding for the Fine Arts Department. I am a Woodruff High School alumni who used to play clarinet in the marching band. I am also a parent to children who attended Peoria Public Schools, so I know all too well why more funding needs to be invested into the Fine Arts Department. Unfortunately, for many of our Peoria Public School students, they don't have access to what I used to have as a student in District 150. Many of our children are having their curiosity stifled because they don't have access to resources like other students do. Many of them don't have the opportunity to explore like I once did and still do. In some schools like Von Steuben and Reservoir Gifted, there are no art classes because they don't have an art teacher. Not only does the district have a shortage in fine arts teachers, but the fine arts department has a lack of funding as well. Teachers and parents came out to the last school board meeting and expressed how the funding for the fine arts department is so minute that it almost doesn't exist. One teacher did the math, and it was found that teachers are allotted only 87 cents per student for supplies for the entire year. Imagine being told that your child would get less than $1 invested into their education for the entire year. How would that make you feel as a parent? You will be confused, frustrated, upset. Visual arts teachers have to purchase their own supplies for their classrooms out of their own pockets. Every single person in this room knows that you cannot do a job professionally if you don't have the proper tools for the work. Resources are the teacher's tools, and it's not fair to them to expect them to pay for the supplies themselves or go without. That is not a fair choice. Just this past summer, District 150 decided to use a grant dedicated to the fine arts to build a splash pad in a dangerous part of the city, right across the street from a liquor store where high crimes, including shootings and murder, often happen. They spent over $2 million in grant money doing so. In a school district with underpaid teachers, teacher shortages, disrepair instruments, an 87-cent budget for each fine arts student, and teachers coming out of their own pockets for supplies, a splash pad was the highest priority for the fine arts grant money and took precedence over these other issues. The deadline to spend the grant money was August 31st of this year. Many concerned parents and community members didn't even find out about the splash pad until July, after it was too late to advocate where the grant money wanted to be spent. So, this summer, Peoria Parents Project took to the streets to talk to other parents about the fine arts situation. We knocked over 700 doors and collected over 500 signatures for the petition, asking District 150 to provide more funding for the fine arts department and to hire more fine arts teachers. When asked where do they want the grant money to be spent, not one person said a splash pad. We spoke with many of Peoria Public School employees who were in support of signing a petition, but many were afraid to do so because they were afraid that the district would retaliate and they would be out of the job. Your employees have a right to sign a petition for a better work environment. No employee should be afraid of losing their job because they want better and they stood up for what was right. We, the parents in the community, are asking you to hire more fine arts teachers and to properly fund the entire district's fine arts department. We understand that you have done it for some, and that is very appreciated. But we don't want it for some, we want it for every single District 150 school. Our children and teachers deserve better. Our children deserve to have more than 87 cents invested into their fine arts education. Our teachers deserve to have the best resources available so that they can properly teach our children. Teachers deserve to have a job and not have to worry about supplies, such as many of us don't have to when we arrive to work. And our students and teachers both deserve Every single person in this room and whomever is watching at home, they deserve your support. So I am asking, not only as a parent organizer and parent, but a concerned citizen of Peoria, for you to give our schools back their money. If the money has already been spent, which it has so, then you will need to unfortunately figure out a way to put it back without the community's consent. We did not ask for a splash pad, but we are asking for more instruments, more teachers, more funding, and more opportunities for every single Peoria public school. We are asking for band, orchestra, choir, and art classes to be offered in all schools, not just some of them. And we are asking that the district invest more than 87 cents per student for the fine arts because they absolutely deserve it. Thank you.
Up next, we have Letitia Stuckey.
Hi, Letitia Stuckey is my name. I'm here also with Miss Alicia with the Peoria People's Project. I'm a parent mentor with the Peoria People's Project under the grassroots umbrella. I had so much to say, but after some collaboration with my community, I want to direct my comments to parents. This room should be full of parents. We bump our music, we teach our kids music, we take them to museums, we do all of those things at home, but we are not pushing for our schools to do the same. We have to be in collaboration with our schools. We have to make our voices heard in the classroom. Teachers are not glorified babysitters. They're there to cultivate our children, to help grow our children. And our children need these fine arts programs to cultivate and to grow, to see what they want to do with their life. Everybody's not going to be a doctor. Everybody's not going to be a Dr. Dre. But they need to have the choice. And if we parents are not in these classrooms seeing what's going on, a lot of us, we don't know what's going on. I was one of those parents. My daughter's in 3rd grade now. 3rd grade is the first grade where I knew what was actually going on with her at school. Kindergarten, 1st grade, I even sent her to private school for kindergarten, and I had no idea what she was doing at school. That was on me. So I want to speak to all parents and say, get in your child's life. Parent on purpose. Don't just be a parent because you were made a parent. Don't just be a parent because you have children living in your home. Parent on purpose. Take your kids to museums. Talk to the teachers and see what's going on. What can I do? Can I come in the classroom and teach a song? Can I come in the classroom and show what we do at home, how we dance in our culture, how we do this, how we do that? Parent on purpose is what I wanted to say. What I did write down to say was this. My name is Letitia Stuckey, an alumni of District 150 schools. I graduated from Woodruff, class of 2010, last graduating class. My daughter is a 3rd grader at Franklin Primary School. And I was recently informed that she was only allotted 87 cents a year towards her fine arts education. I was shook because, as we all know, 87 cents doesn't buy much of anything. So I wanted to come up here and I wanted to be motivational like Maya Angelou or speak like Michelle Obama, but I really just want to appeal to our common sense. Our district is riddled with conflict. Students versus students, students versus teachers. Now we have students versus campus police, which I think is insane. But it's a decision that's been made. But why? Why is there so much strife in classrooms that are supposed to be inspiring our students to be more and cultivating them to dream big and be all that they can be? If that is what the school is for, why is there so much conflict in the classroom? Simply put, a lot of our students are bored. And what do you do when you're bored? You pick. You pick at whatever, yourself, the next person, whatever you see is easy to do, you're going to do that. And these are children that we're talking about. So of course they're going to pick. We are encouraging students to seek out what interests them, or are we giving them the options that we see as necessary? Fine arts programs help students develop higher order thinking and creative thinking skills, such as memory and perception. And we are also able to share our culture through these fine arts. They promote social skills that enhance awareness and respect for others, which is something that we are missing. Respect for each other. We're missing that. So bringing these small things, instruments, and teaching these kids how to work together, reading music is a whole nother language outside of Spanish and French, and it's a whole nother language, it's a whole nother world if we can just get our kids to learn these things. The fine arts also enhance perceptual and cognitive skills. Teachers of the current fine arts classes are stretched thin, some teaching at more than one school. Supplies are minimal, and quite frankly, they're boring. My kids at Kinsley's, they boom whackers. That's what they get. Different size boom whackers. How many days can you do boom whackers until you're like, okay, I don't want to do boom whackers anymore? The district puts more focus on fine arts in middle schools and high schools, but primary school is where the foundation is laid. Primary school is where children begin to find themselves and develop interests outside of the interests taught to them at home and in the streets. Help us parents give our kids a fighting chance at the starting line and not when the race has already begun. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And for our last speaker, Gail Jones.
Good evening. I'm a grandparent and I have 5 kids and they go to Glen School. The art program I'm here for. I'm here to support of it because that's what they need. They need more than 87 cents. Because you know why? My 4 kids said that they were doing their crayon and stuff, and they show their expression, just like you showed them that up there. That is art. That's what they need. And when they bad at school, give them a pencil and a piece of paper, and they'll show you what they can do. They do art. And they need more. They need more to identify themselves, to identify their talent. It's just not about going to school, doing your ABCs and all that. It is important. But then, when they go home, what else they got to do? When y'all can just add a little more money and let those kids do their art. You'll see. You look at this. Look at that. Look at some of these walls out here that they actually did with little than nothing. So a little help won't hurt. That's all I got to say.
And at this time, we'll have response to audience presentation. Dr. Karat.
Thank you, President Murphy. I wanted to thank the grandmother, Miss Gail, who just came out. Thank you for coming, and our parents or former parents for coming and just sharing your thoughts with us. And then also, of course, wanted to thank our teachers for sharing their ideas. Ms. Rood, I saw you maybe about a month or so ago in action, and you're amazing. And I was just really pleased to see you were having fun. You probably didn't even notice I was there because you were just into it with your kids, and I know you do that on a daily basis. I can tell, and I've seen you several times. So thanks for coming, everyone, and sharing. Couple of things. I actually do have some remarks. I scribbled some things. First of all, we've talked about the splash pad here before, specifically, but I won't spend too much time on it. I think our teachers know as well the splash pad was a one-time initiative that could only be used on the splash pad. We couldn't use it for instruments. We couldn't use it for supplies, art supplies, okay? So let's check that one off. The other thing is, maybe, I don't know, 2 or 3 board meetings ago, we presented, I think, a very comprehensive presentation on how much money the board has invested in the arts, not only musically, but also the art itself, visual arts, and it was about $5 million. And so and they got new uniforms. I know one of our schools performed at a competition at Weston this past weekend. They had new uniforms. Manual got new uniforms, the band. Peoria High, they have new uniforms. Even Roosevelt received new uniforms. And all of they have new uniforms, new instruments, all of the instruments that were broken. We got those fixed working with the teachers and the Fine Arts Committee. So I wanted to definitely get that out there, that the district spent $5 million on the arts, which I think is unprecedented and has never happened before. So then, just wanted to share some points that I wrote down. So I think one of our teachers, maybe Miss Marie, mentioned ESSA funds. One of the teachers, I'm sorry, which one? You did, okay. And so the district has received some funding over the years, the last couple of years, and we have been using those funds for different things. We bought buses, we bought books, stuff that we needed, because remember, we had buses that were almost like 20 years old, so we had to reinvest in buses. We had old textbooks, so we took that money and sort of prioritized, and the arts were there as well. So ESSA fund, right, Carla, round one, in 21-22, we spent over $137 to purchase art equipment, and then, so that's $137,000, and then over $91,000, actually $92,000 for supplies. And requests were solicited by teachers on the district fine arts committee and ordered and delivered for everyone that requested based on availability of items. So I don't know if the teachers remember that, but you remember that? Okay, awesome. Then 23-24, this school year, ESSA round two, the grant is closing out. This is the last year, right? So after COVID, we had this extra COVID money, so we're wrapping up, we're closing it out. So additional funds in the fine arts supply line item we have included will be distributed to buildings, and there's a principals meeting tomorrow, where the buildings will receive additional funds from what's left of the ESSA funds. So they'll receive additional funds for high school, and then also for all buildings, K-8, including K-8 as well. The building teachers will work with their principal to determine what is needed, and will continue to order. So I know you had gotten some journals, and there are other things that you're asked for, so you'll have an opportunity, all of you will have an opportunity to work with your principal. Then the other one, I wanted to give some kudos to Dick Blick. Every year, you guys know that, every year, each year we get pallets. When I tell you pallets of art materials donated to Peoria Public Schools. We use the PPS truck, and we pick up the items in the warehouse located in Galesburg, and we bring it back to our PPS warehouse. And then the fine arts teachers, that committee, they sort and organize all this material and then distribute that to our teachers in the district. This year, we will also be getting, actually, I think that email came in this weekend, we'll be getting 6 pallets of art supplies that the teachers will get to. You guys get it, and you decide what you want to do with it. And I like that because it's for you, of you, by you. And then additional funds may also be available with the building principals, and we're just kind of working with them every year to determine how to use those funds and balance that as well. So there's quite a bit. So I just appreciate everybody highlighting this, and and continue to email me, because then we'll work together and we'll see who needs more help with trying to balance and providing that support. Because you guys know me, I want you to have what you need so that you can do what you have to do. And it seems like the majority, we saw Miss Rose's presentation, it was a lot of artwork and a lot of supplies, construction paper, color, all sorts of things. So, thank you for highlighting it. We're really putting forth a good effort, and if you're still wanting to highlight more, feel free to send emails, and I'll respond, and I'll ask questions, and I'll do the best I can.
One question I have, just to follow up onto Ms. Lindahl's request. She said she had reached out to Chris Rowetter, and that was from 5th grade on. But what about who would they go to for 4th grade and down? Would that?
Yeah. So they're really their principal. they work with their principal. And actually, we have a staff person that they know Dr. Wilson is still kind of working with the arts committee. And so I know you guys work with Heather, and actually we've reached out after like maybe 3 board meetings ago. I said to Dr. Wilson, hey, reach out to Heather and see if there could be a meeting to kind of flush out some of those things. So there's a mechanism. It could go through the arts committee, and then they know who at central office who's, yep. So continue to do that, okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on now to information items. We'll start with the superintendent update.
You know what?
Oh, you know what? I'm so sorry.
Okay.
First, before we do that, I apologize. We need to approve September 11th minutes. May I please get a motion to approve September 11th, 2023 minutes as presented?
Second.
Madam Secretary, will you please call the roll?
Mrs. Costick? Mr. Kloss?
Aye.
Dr. Rankin?
Aye.
Mrs. Ross? President Murphy?
Aye.
We have 5 ayes. Motion carries.
All right, thank you. While Superintendent has stepped away, we'll go ahead and move on. We'll come back to her, but we'll go ahead and go on to the financial update. Budgeted, encumbered, expended, balanced, and percentage balance.
Sure. Revenue year-to-date totals $71.2 million. Expenditures year-to-date, $62.2 million. Receipts year-to-date are up about $12 million from our last board meeting almost a month ago. Evidence-based funding or state aid, and then corporate personal property replacement taxes are the big reasons for that increase in revenue. On the expenditure side, we're up $13.8 million. Employee costs, salaries and benefits, and then purchase services contribute to that variance of last board meeting to this board meeting, expenditures going up about $13.8 million. In terms of, in comparison to budget, our year-to-date expenditures are about 26% of the budget. Historically, this time of year, we've usually received about 33% of the budget, so we're trailing just a little bit behind. On the spending side, we're about 22% of budget. Historically, we're about 20% of budget on spending, total spending. So that gives you an overview of our revenue expenditures to date through today, October 23rd. I'd be happy to answer any questions anybody might have relative to revenues, expenditures, or other aspects of our financial report.
Thank you, Mr. Willis. Are there any questions for board members? Yes, Ms. Ross. Your mic's off.
The 20% as opposed to 22%, what do you attribute that increase of 2% to?
Expenditures are running higher expenses.
Higher expenses?
Yeah, and then we have had a number of one-time purchases, like in our list of bills, for example, we had like computer expenditures, for example. Things like that are driving our spending year-to-date up. So it's mainly right now one-time expenditures, and I'd say that probably relates more to construction, at this point.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions by board members? Seeing none, thank you, Mr. Willis.
I did have one other financial reporting item.
Yes.
Today is the last board meeting for my teammate Carla Eman, Director of Budgets and Compliance, and she's going to kill me for it tomorrow, but it's today. So I just wanted to publicly say thanks for all you do. She's a very valued member of the finance team.
She is.
And you will be missed.
She is retiring. After how many years, Carla? 29 years old.
You don't want to make it into even 30? Just stay on one more year. No, you're good with 29. So, congratulations, well deserved, and you will definitely be missed. So enjoy retirement. All right, coming back now to superintendent update.
It will be very short. I'll count that one as my superintendent, my response. But just a big congratulations to Coach Thornton and the Peoria High football team for an amazing week. Last Friday, I was there. They secured the city championship over Notre Dame. So their hard work and teamwork really paid off. Now they're getting ready for the IHSA state playoffs against Joliet Catholic School at 7 p.m. on Friday. So if you can support them, that would be great if you can come out and support them. Let's keep cheering them on. And it says win the city playoffs. And then just a quick happy Illinois School Bus Driver Appreciation Day is today, right, Halima? Yesterday. Okay. Sunday. All right. So I did send a note out to them, but we're recognizing them. When do we recognize them? In February?
Well, that's the transportation department. This one was just bus driver.
Just bus drivers. Okay. All right. And then just quickly, board, the designations, just FYI, the designations, the school summative designations, those will come out. Actually, I think the media has them already, but they're embargoed until, maybe they're getting them on the 25th. They'll come out on the 30th of this month, and so I'll give the board an update at our November meeting, which I think is November 13th. So I'll give an update. Okay, and that's it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. School report cards. So there's exemplary, commendable, targeted, comprehensive, and for some reason this year they've added a new category called intensive. So now, in the past, it used to be four categories. Now there are 5 categories. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. Maybe last year's. It's not yet. I have access, but no one else has. Did anybody, Dr. Hassan, were you able to? Ms. Brooks? No. Dr. Molson? Yeah. So, thank you.
Thank you.
There are winners and losers, and we have folks in every category.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
We've already done financial reports, so then proposed expenditures over $2,500. Are there any questions? Okay. Seeing none. Number 4, report of requests under the Freedom of Information Act and status of such requests.
Thanks, Prez. Since our board meeting on September 20th, we've received 3 new requests. 1 is completed and 2 are still pending. And there were 2 pending requests that I noted on September 20 and September 25th. Of those, there are 0 requests that remains open. To date, we've received 93 requests for this calendar year at a total cost of $4,650. Thank you, President Murphy.
Okay, thank you very much. Moving on now to the action items, the consent agenda. Vice President Reinking.
The consent agenda consists of gifts to school district year to date, $104,795.31. Specifically, donation of $41.82 by Walmart for school supplies to District 150. Donation of $120.07 by Walmart for school supplies to District 150. Donation of $8,900 by Advanced Medical Transport to District 150 schools. Number 2, payment of bills. Number 3, payment for travel. Number 4, human resource report. Number 5, approval of 1 goal contract to improve leadership support for counselors. Number 6, Jameson HVAC project. Number 7, Jameson pool renovation project. Number 8, medical management company. Number 9, PPO network. Number 10, renewable of reinsurance all employees. And number 11, SY calendars for the 2024-25 school year and the 25-26 school years. And that concludes the consent agenda.
Thank you, Vice President Reinking. Are there any items that any board members would like to have pulled for a separate vote or discussion? Okay, all right, question. Okay.
When the donations are not to a specific school or anything, can you tell me how those dollars are disseminated to the various schools. It says school supplies. So how is that money disseminated?
Yeah, I was in.
Thank you. I was instrumental in the final donation, the last donation. AMT donated $8,900, $8,900 towards, pardon me?
I gotta take this call.
Oh, okay. So, does anyone know who's receiving the 41? It's a school that submitted it. Halima?
Yeah.
So someone received $41.82 worth of supplies.
So it's to specific schools.
Yes, so what happens is, if you've been to any of the Walmarts when school supply era is, and we have a box where they can donate, people donate throughout the summer, and the school supplies that are donated, we tally up how much they're worth. And then we ask all the principals, like, are any of your classes, or do you have a large need for any of these specific school supplies? And based on those, we give them school supplies. So the money isn't donated directly, it's the school supplies that are donated at those Walmarts.
Yep. For this situation, sometimes it's donated, but yeah, thank you, Halima. I'll mention it to Ms. Kostick. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I was going to say the 8,900 is towards, Halima, you're working on a PR campaign with one of the stations, and they picked up, it's the 7 Mindsets. And you want to tell the board a little bit about that quickly? I think it's a nice opportunity and a nice project. And a big thank you to Andrew Rand and Advanced Medical Transport for funding. That was the cost of running that campaign, that 7 Mindset campaign. Dr. Bond, you're involved with that as well, right?
Yes. Hello. Thank you, members of the board. President Murphy, Vice President Ranking. So after our 7 Mindset kickoff that we had last month, very successfully with Dr. Bond and Dr. Coleman over at the Wraparound Center, WMBD reached out about a very exciting opportunity to collaborate with just getting the word out in terms of each of the 7 mindsets as we're teaching them in our schools. We can basically, like a PSA style, involve students, make short 30-second commercials about each of those 7 mindsets, and broadcast those commercials throughout the school year. So we are very fortunate in that Advanced Medical Transportation funded that effort, but you will begin seeing some of our cute kids on your TV screens. I think our first one is coming out in November.
And then what's the market, the footprint?
I'd have to pull up the numbers.
It was beyond, there's an opportunity.
For it to be broadcast beyond Central Illinois, is that correct?
Yes, yes, because WMBD is owned by their larger parent organization. It's going to be not just broadcast in Central Illinois, but in all of their different ABC affiliate channels.
Okay, very exciting. Thank you. And thank you to the folks at AMT and to Walmart. All right. Go ahead. Mic's off.
Well, I'm missing on my page, I'm missing some numbers, so, but I wanted to ask about the medical management company and is this something new? The we changed medical management companies after 60 years, did we?
We have had a medical management company as part of our health insurance program forever. They primarily handle pre-authorizations when employees have like surgeries and that kind of thing, to ensure that employees don't have doctors recommend things that, or they wind up paying for things that they don't really need and that kind of thing. So there's a pre-authorization piece, and that's primarily what AIM does. In this case, because there's a different network, we have OSF and Carl Health, and one of the things we're doing is recommending that we replace that with Aetna. This group that we're moving to for medical management works with Aetna, and they also so they do the same kind of thing, but they do that with Aetna, and are reportedly very good at it. So that's the medical management piece.
Okay, so what I'm trying to say is, Aetna, I understand you're looking at changing to Aetna. Aetna is an insurance provider, correct?
A network.
But
So
you're
the
still-
hospitals and doctors and stuff like that.
Okay, so they'll still be using the same hospitals?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, OSF and Carl Health, those hospitals, the doctors affiliated with them, all those folks will still be using.
Part of that.
Yes.
Now, is this a new cost, the fees per person, per employee, per month? Is that something paid by the district, or are the employees paying that?
That is the medical management company. That fee is paid by the district.
The district?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then the PPOs, you're saying PPO networks. Is this the Aetna network that's going to save us? 15,
Between $1.5 million and
1.5 to
yeah,
$2 million?
Between $1.5 million and $2 million.
Would that cost also be reflected in the employees' savings? I know they play a portion of that.
Yeah. So there's not for the coming year that starts calendar year that starts January 1. There's no change in the rates that the employees will pay. So those rates are going to be held flat. So I guess indirectly, that probably will affect rates like in 2025, starting January 1. So the anticipated savings will probably determine whether or not we will need to increase rates, not January 1, 2024, but January 1, 2025. And if these savings come through, we probably won't have to increase rates a year from now.
Probably.
Well, that's there. Well, there's a number of pieces to the insurance program, and we could be under budget here, but be over budget someplace else, which might necessitate a increase in rate. So.
Okay, so was this a bidding process, or how did we choose the new process?
We did take some comparisons. We did market. We did go to market for those services. And the insurance committee reviewed. I think there were 3 or 4 companies that wound up responding to our network questionnaire, where we were looking to see if we could do better than what we're doing now.
Okay.
So
I know we've gone a gamut. We've been, self-funded. We've done all the kind of.
Yeah, and we still will be self-funded. It'll still be a self-funded program.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is just the main reason for this change. A lot of times, an employee will have services like at a doctor's office or at a hospital. They'll need more advanced services, and a lot of times those more advanced services are only available if you're OSF through Carl Health, and if you're Carl Health through OSF. And when it goes to the other network, it's not covered. If you have one network, it's all covered. And that's where we think we'll save money. There won't be any, we call it leakage, where you start with one, you finish with the other, and where you finish, it's out of network and more expensive. If you have one network, you don't have that piece. That's where we think we're going to save money.
Think you're gonna save that way?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
I'm confident.
I
we
was
will.
just kind of concerned about, you know, 1625 per employee per month access fee. And like the employee's gonna be paying that access.
No,
fee.
the district will.
District will pay that?
Yeah, the district will
Okay,
pay
so
that.
You've got two different categories here with access fees, and I was
Yeah,
just wondering about.
yeah. Well, the district will pay that, but we believe that even paying that, we still will net
Come out.
come out. Yeah, we'll net some $1.5 million to $2 million of savings.
Okay,
Mhm.
thank you.
I don't even remember where it was at. Yep, very good. Are there any other questions or any on any of the other action items? Seeing none, can I get a motion?
So moved.
Okay, Madam Secretary, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Claus.
Aye.
Dr. Rankin.
Aye.
Mrs. Ross. President Murphy.
Aye.
We have 4 ayes. Motion carries.
Just enough. All right, perfect. Thank you. Moving on now to the deliberation agenda. Who would like to read?
I can read it. Do you want to read it? Or I can read it? Because it's, okay. Okay. Number 12, expulsion with the expulsion to be held in abeyance. I move to the proposed action that the Board of Education approve expulsion with the expulsion held in abeyance listed on the report dated October 23rd, 2023 be approved as presented.
Okay, Madam Secretary, will you please call the roll?
Mrs. Costick. Mr. Claus.
Aye.
Dr. Rankin.
Aye.
Mrs. Ross. President Murphy.
Aye.
We have 4 ayes. Motion carries.
Number 13, expulsion. I move to the proposed action that the Board of Education approve expulsion listed on the report dated October 23, 2023 be approved as presented.
Madam Secretary, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Claus.
Aye.
Dr. Rankin.
Aye.
President Murphy.
Aye.
Mrs. Ross. We have 4 ayes. Motion carries.
Number 14, revocation of the expulsion held in abeyance. I move to have the proposed action that the Board of Education approve the revocation of the expulsion held in abeyance listed on the report dated October 23rd, 2023 be approved as presented.
Madam Secretary, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Claus.
Aye.
Dr. Rankin.
Aye.
Mrs. Ross. President Murphy.
Aye.
We have 4 ayes. Motion carries.
Number 15, suspension review. I move that the board, the motion is proposed action that the Board of Education approve suspension review listed on the report dated October 23rd, 2023 be approved as presented.
Madam Secretary, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Claus.
Aye.
Dr. Rankin.
Aye.
Mrs. Ross. President Murphy.
Aye.
We have 4 ayes. Motion carries.
Thank you. Thank you, Vice President Ranking. Presentation and suggestions by board members? Seeing none.
Wait, I
go
have
ahead.
one.
Okay.
I know that Ms. Costick was going to ask this of Mr. Willis. One of the requests that we had at the last board meeting was descriptions of each of the things on the budget, like what the categories mean. If I know that she was talking about requesting that, so if I'd just like to do a second request for that, just to have the descriptions of that.
Thank you. Any other? Okay. Reports from board committees. Okay. Seeing done, may I please get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.